Commentary by Dave King.
This is what you call preventive maintenance here. Getting all this prep, all this loose flaky paint needs to all be pulled off, and this all needs to be epoxied and repaired properly here.
Looking, Dave.
Actually, it's a full sash with a screen for up here, so I'm going to get some measurements and we're going to build new storms and replace these screens with 30 is 3/8. By 30 and 5/8. So 30 and 5/8 wide by 57 3/4 high. We need to write that. This one's in a lot better shape. It still needs to have. This is all rot right here, so we'll just replace the whole rail like the other one. Pull this hinge off here. Well, these are just, they're treated. You can see the corrosion is already starting, so you need to use a stainless steel.
There you go. Here's what's left. Original.
Okay. Hi, my name is Dave King with Eco Woodworks, and I'm going to be filming a short video of how to reglaze a wood sash window. And during the course of that time, I'll show some techniques, I'll review and show some of the tools that are needed and supplies needed. Okay, this is the Bigelow House Museum storm window, and we're in the process of removing the glazing putty and salvaging the glass if we can, and then we have to do a repair where the rot is developed there on this bottom rail, and then put the window all back together. So if you want to take a closer look here, you can see where some dry rot had developed over time. So we're going to replace this lower rail on this sash. Okay. These are some of the typical tools that you'll be needing. There's some different style putty knives here. This combination knife works really well. We can use it as a scraper. The tip works really good for going along the edges. A 2-inch rigid putty knife is always handy to have. A glazing tool for installing points and working and tooling the glazing compound. And then an 1.5 inch wide rigid putty knife is always good to have as well. This is a scraper with a different style tip. I've modified this one for getting in certain angles. Here's another one that has a beveled edge with the eased edge. This works really good for scraping or removing paint. This is a larger scraper for scraping down surface areas. This is a carbide tip scraper with a hose attachment, worked really well. A wire brush is always handy to have. This is a specialized tool that you can use if you need to remove a window and it's been painted shut. It has a flexible steel edge that's serrated so you can go along the edge of the window and break the paint line. And then you've got your glazing compound. This is a aqua glaze. It's a water base. It works really well. Your glazing points. And then this is a traditional oil-based product that works also, but it takes longer to dry and you have to primer it with oil-based primer. Use a respirator that has a carbon fiber type filter, our carbon filter, and you want to make sure you set up a work area that's well lit, a stable work platform, and a drop cloth so you can catch any of the debris and everything. Also, heat gun works really well. That way you can heat up the edge along of the glass and the sash to soften the putty to help remove the putty. Okay, so now that the glass has been removed safely, you want to go along the edge of the bed where the rabbit is and make sure that there's no glazing points still in there. There are. Get those removed. Make sure this is all smooth and there's no putty or paint debris or anything in there. That way, when you go to put the new glass in, you can run bedding compound and the glass will sit in there smooth. Okay. Okay, so we've did our prep and we're going to remove this bottom rail that is rotten and mill a new piece to replace the damaged part. And then the next thing we're going to do is go over to table saw so we can cut down and remove the other part of rotten stock so we can splice in some fresh, good material. Okay, so now we're going to run this through the table saw. Which will give us enough material to remove so we can splice in a fresh, solid piece of wood.
At this point, we've got the stile at the bottom of the storm repaired on both sides. And we've moved on to fitting and replacing the bottom rail of the storm windows. And we've got it shown here clamped up and glued. And they will soon be ready to be sanded and then dowel pinned for strength. Okay, here you can see where we've drilled and now we're putting in the dowel pins that will add strength to the bottom rail joint where it meets the stile.
This is fine, Gabe. Okay, we're getting ready right now to trim off the dowel pins and the spline so it's all flush so we can sand and finish doing the final prep. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to dry fit the glass and make sure it fits proper from our new repairs that we just did here. So we need a final prep and sanding. And then we're going to do some scraping and sanding on this paint so it's prepped and ready for the finished paint process.
Alright.
Right now I'm taking this scraper and I'm scraping down this face, feathering down the old paint so we can blend it in for our touch-up paint and priming here. Okay, we're going to basically clean off this glass. This is this piece we're able to salvage and dry fit it and get ready to prep it for reglazing it. So we're just kind of cleaning it off right now from it sitting outside. Just rotate it here. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to take this razor blade scraper real carefully. We're going to get the paint off, so when we reset the glass, it's going to sit in the bed of the rabbit flesh. You just kind of go around the edge and make sure you get all that excess paint and everything off of the glass. Okay.